One Piece Chapter 1104 is about the intense conflict between Kuma and Saturn when Kuma seeks revenge for the harm done to his daughter Bonnie. The forthcoming punch from Kuma, fueled by his deep love for Bonnie, promises to be a gratifying moment for fans. Still, Saturn's superior strength poses a potential threat to Kuma, raising hopes for an outcome. This chapter explores Kuma's unyielding willpower and shows how it allows him to take action despite his personality being erased. His deep love for Bonnie proves to be an overwhelming force that defies any attempts at control. This narrative element is emphasized and directly connects the Kuma's presence on Egghead Island to his love for his daughter. Chapter 1104 will also focus on Luffy's recovery and transformation into Nika. After being rescued by an unknown entity, perhaps Kizaru or Caribou, Luffy regains his powers and prepares for battle with Saturn. The long-awaited showdown between Luffy and Saturn will be the climax of the Egghead Island arc. The success of Luffy's efforts determines the fate of everyone on the island and is of great importance as a symbol of Luffy's resistance to the oppression of the celestial dragons. Fans will be excited for One Piece Chapter 1104 as the story officially returns to Egghead Island. The ending of Kuma and Bonnie's flashback shows the resumption of the war with Egghead, which promises to intensify. The arrival of Kuma to rescue Bonnie and Saturn's demonic form sets the stage for a compelling narrative, with a father's fury taking center stage. Chapter 1104 is ready to reveal these and further developments once the jump break is over. The first thing that One Piece Chapter 1104 will likely focus on is the fight between Kuma and Saturn. In the previous chapter, Saturn, enraged by Bonnie's insolence, promptly attempted to execute her, even though she was only a child and possibly his biological daughter. Fortunately, Kuma's timely arrival at Egghead Island changed the course of events. He rushed through the crowd, neutralizing every marine in his path and protecting Bonnie from the firing squad just as Saturn was about to attack. Absorbing the attack aimed at him, Kuma saved Bonnie and redirected his rage towards Saturn, preparing a formidable hockey-infused punch. The impact of this punch is about to be felt clearly in the next chapter of One Piece. Kuma's inner turmoil, fueled by what he endured at the hands of Saturn, reached its peak. His love for Bonnie overcomes all, and anyone who tries to harm Bonnie will face his unrelenting wrath. While the next chapter promises a satisfying fight as Kuma takes on Saturn, fans should remember that Saturn, being significantly stronger, is capable of crushing Kuma if he so chooses. While seeing Kuma triumph over Saturn would bring a sense of fulfillment to fans, it is essential to realize that Kuma does not have the necessary tools to defeat Saturn in the larger context then. In fact, the confrontation may cause Saturn to inflict further damage on Kuma, potentially pushing him into a near-death state. One Piece Chapter 1104 will likely also focus on Kuma and how he can move at this time. Many believe that Kuma may have circuitry invented by Vegapunk to change his personality. While this theory has some merit, it's unlikely Oda would use such a plot device. The idea of neutralizing Kuma's personality raises important plot holes, such as why Kuma didn't do it sooner or why he remained a soulless robot even after being captured Revolutionary Rescue Team. It is reasonable to assume that Kuma does not have this circuit and that his presence on Egghead Island is motivated solely by his deep love for his daughter. Even though having his willpower erased, Kuma's immense love for Bonnie still outweighed everything else. This phenomenon has been seen before in history when Victoria Sindri, under Moria's control through her devil fruit power, escaped and revealed her true emotions despite being considered dead. Although Kuma can be considered soulless, his persistent will can overcome Vegapunk's erasure. In essence, he is resurrected, and this resurrection can be attributed to the steadfast love he has for his daughter. This narrative element will likely take center stage in One Piece 1104. There are two plausible candidates for the mysterious individual helping Luffy: Kizaru, the Marine Admiral known for his weakness towards Bonnie and Sentomaru, or Caribou, who has been absent for a significant period of time. Kizaru is a strong opponent, motivated by a desire to minimize damage, including keeping Bonnie and Sentomaru safe while potentially aiming to take on Vegapunk. On the other hand, Caribou's involvement may stem from a reluctance to face death on the island and a need to contribute to the plot. Regardless of who the benefactor is, fans can anticipate Luffy's gradual recovery, aligning him with the fight against Saturn. Once restored, Luffy will likely accept his transformation into Nika and promptly engage Saturn in what promises to be the climax of the Egghead Island arc. During the course of events, Kuma is shown to fight against Saturn due to his limited power, paving the way for Luffy's intervention. When Kuma faces danger, Luffy is ready to step in, deal a fatal blow to Saturn and save not only Kuma but also Bonnie. This pivotal moment will mark the beginning of the final showdown in the Egghead Island arc, giving fans a highly anticipated spectacle. As a liberation warrior, Luffy faces challenges with disastrous consequences. Failure could result in the disappearance of all residents of Egghead Island. The only way out is to challenge one of the 5 elders, a move that, although it could make world news, requires Luffy to assert himself as Nika and assert his position in the face of oppression by celestial dragons. This marks a pivotal moment for Luffy and sets the stage for a significant change in the overall story. Of course, no matter which direction the story goes, it will have to wait a while, as One Piece will be on an extended break due to the Tet holiday. Fans will have to wait 3 weeks for the next chapter to see Luffy and Kuma handle the situation on Egghead.